We just do it so we can roll the open. I like the open. Here we go. You're going to hear from people, and you're going to hear what Swagoo has to say. And the first person is Baker Mayfield, who, of course, had another tough game on Sunday. Threw 3 picks in a loss to the Seahawks. He has now thrown a league-worst 11 interceptions on the season and expressed those frustrations after the game.
Are you angry? Just sort of how?
Yeah, we lost. I'm pretty pissed. Yeah.
So you were angry at the start of this game then?
I mean, geez, guys, you're like my counselor right now. No, I mean, I try and get an edge. I'm not angry.
That's what he said. What does Swagoo say?
The fact that they are being like his counselor means he has one. Because when you're throwing this many interceptions, you need to have a damn counselor, is what Baker is saying. The second thing is, when you listen to Baker talk to the media now, the tone has changed because he realizes next Sunday I'm going to probably throw 2 interceptions, and I don't need y'all saying a damn thing about it. He got a counselor.
His swag is missing from it, right? I mean, this is the Swagoo says.
You think?
No one exemplified that more than he did, and the swag seems to be gone.
Jeez, guys.
Next up, the Vikings, who lit up the Eagles on Sunday behind a huge day from Kirk Cousins, 333 yards and 4 touchdowns. Ahead of that game, Eagles linebacker Zach Brown called Cousins probably the weakest part of the offense. Then after the loss, Brown was asked if he regretted making those comments.
Do you wish maybe you didn't say what you said about Cousins?
I'm here to talk about the game, not about that. Any other questions besides about Kirk Cousins?
How do you think he's going to that?
He did a great job there. He played good, you know. That's awesome. I mean, I can't break that.
Doug Peterson sent him to the podium.
Doug Peterson to the podium.
That's what he said. What does Swagoo say?
I say, damn, Zach. I mean, you talk about writing a check that you're behind can't cash. It's another word that's supposed to be inserted in there. And then you literally lost your check. Are you kidding me? He got fired after this, G. What the hell? Like, this is the worst. You talk about bad weeks. Gee, I've had a bad week. You've had a bad week before.
Yes.
That's a bad week.
Yes, and what he's referring to is that he was released yesterday.
Oh,
so after all this happened, it's not necessarily related to those comments, but he was released yesterday. Let's talk about the Cowboys, who've had a different kind of bad week. They're 3-3 after losing to the Jets on Sunday. After the loss, Jerry Jones had this to say about the status of his coach, Jason Garrett. Quote, "I'm going to be very trite. I was a lot happier with what he had done the first 3 games than what's happened the last 3 games. But the big thing I want to say is it's not just him. This is across the board." That's what Jerry says. What does Swagoo say?
Swagoo say, oh, hell no, this is him. That is the beginning of the end. Jerry has never been not really to the point and stern when talking about Jason Garrett. It's not just him. Yes, it is, because you did everything to put everything around him to have success. So here we are. Here we are, Jerry. This is your moment. This is the time when people are going to say, are you going to make a decision in the best interest of the Cowboys, or do you just like Jason Garrett enough? But Jerry said, it's him.
And let me ask you this, because you played for him. You know how the dynamics of this stuff work. If they lose to Philly on Sunday night, it's going to be up for grabs. Do you believe that if they fired Jason Garrett during the season, it would help them? They would have a better chance of winning by making an in-season coaching move, which rarely happens in the NFL.
Gee, I would be hard-pressed to think it would help them, because I don't identify anybody within that organization that's going to help them get over the hump. Like, we're talking, remember, we picked this as a Super Bowl contender.
Yes.
We picked them to go to the NFC Championship. Now we're having a conversation about what's best for them to just get through the season. With all of that being said, Jason Garrett right now at this moment is probably the best in that situation, because he's going to buy you time to go back up a Brinks truck to Lincoln Riley.
And what I will say to this too, yes, is it's not us who projected them to be in the Super Bowl. It's Jerry.
It's Jerry.
Who, through his actions, made it clear. He thinks this is a championship team.
You talk about throwing actions. When you throw millions, that's action.
All right, so we've got Swagoo aggravated. Let's try and cheer him up a little bit. Let's talk about LSU.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're playing to Spears' greatest hits right now in the matchup of the weekend. 5th-ranked LSU knocking off number 7 Florida, 42-28. Joe Burrow continuing to make his Heisman case, completing 21 of 24 passes, 293 yards, 3 touchdowns. LSU, because of the win, climb all the way to number 2 in the AP poll. Let's take a look. And they passed Clemson and Ohio State in the process. LSU's highest ranking, by the way, since 2012. Bama sits at number 1 for the 3rd straight weekend. Yeah, Georgia falls to number 10. But we'll get into that later. Hi, Paul Feinbaum. Hi, Paul.
Hello.
I'll start with him because, as you see, he's over here stewing. Number 2 team in the country. What did you learn about LSU after Saturday's game?
They can score on anybody.
They're smiling.
That's number one.
Okay.
I want to say a lot of things, but I'm going to keep it tight because Dan and Paul got to talk too. I'm sorry, guys. Listen, first time in a long time I've been to a game. I was there Saturday, and I was asking myself, Todd Grantham, Florida's defense, this is the test. Can LSU really carry this offensive prowess throughout the rest of the season? You damn right they can. And it was beautiful. 48 plays total, and they scored 42 points. Are you kidding me? Joe Burrow is playing out of his mind. And the one thing I think people need to realize, whether Burrow wins the Heisman, whether he continues to be on a tear like he has, when Joe Burrow walks out of the locker room, every player on the LSU football team believes that they're going to win the game. And that says a lot about having the guy in that position where you believe that.
You know what I find so interesting, Marcus, is
he finna kill
Ed Ogeron. Here's a guy that not a single major college in America wanted anything to do with. What did LSU want 3 years ago? They wanted Jimbo Fisher. They went after him hard, and they nearly got him. They came that close, but Jimbo decided to ask for some more money. So Les Miles survived. The next year, they went after Jimbo again. They begged Tom Herman, and they got stuck with Ed Ogeron, who's the best coach they've had there in a generation.
I took 2 things from this game. One, we went into this season and thinking, man, Alabama's got the best receivers and Clemson has the best receivers in college football. And it was really everybody else. Those boys from LSU wanted to have a conversation because Jefferson and Jamar Chase are as good as any duo in college football right now at wide receiver. They lead the country duo-wise in yards. And the second thing is this, and I think this is the more applicable thing. No one has ever thought of LSU as being a place where quarterbacks wanted to go. The great high school quarterbacks wanted to go because the style of football. I think what LSU is doing this year on offense could have impact a generation from now. Because now, as a high school quarterback, you're going to go, wait, going to LSU is cool. They want to chuck it all over the lot. And you can go and play there, play really well, learn how to play well, and then go to the NFL.
Talk that talk.
But here's the thing, though, recruiting aside, all anyone wants to know when it comes to the SEC West is, can LSU take down Alabama?
You are correct. And Dan, I love your enthusiasm. Marcus, I know you too well. But we were here a year ago, and I don't want to rain on this parade because I love it too. But a year ago, LSU looked different. And they hosted Alabama in a 1-3 matchup, and they got skunked 28-0. So until they beat Alabama, all of this generational stuff.
Damn you, Feinbaum.
Save it.
They got some trap games coming too. I'm just saying.
Save it.
Damn you.
LSU should be number 1 in the country right now.
Until they do it, Alabama got benefit of the doubt.
Sure, but for now.
But you think they can?
They can.
He thought they
shockingly,
could last year, too.
I was going to say shockingly, he thinks that they can.
That's a lie.
Tonight, Canada and the U.S. will square off in a CONCACAF Nations League match on ESPN 2. Do you think that America can win this one, Marcus Spears? Yeah. Coverage starts at 7:15 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
I don't even know what a CONCACAF is. Is that what you're about to say?
Yeah, that's what they're going to do. They're going to win.
You can always see it live.
What
it's
is it,
streaming on the ESPN app. Oh, no. Still ahead, Aaron Rodgers was brilliant when it mattered last night, where the Packers' Monday night win puts them among the NFL elite.
And we also have time for a little sneaky hembo with Aaron Rodgers beating the Lions last night. It begs this question: which quarterback has Rodgers beaten the most times in his career? That's the question. The answer's coming up next. You're watching Get Up on ESPN.